So, I got no questions on the Q&A I asked for, so we're doing a video I've wanted to make for a long time. 1949 Willys Jeep. Let's go. First off, let's talk about where this Jeep came from. It was first built in Toledo, Ohio in 1949, as you can tell from the title. It was used around here as a farming Jeep, as many Jeeps were from 1949 up until the 70s when AMC bought them, and they transformed more to like an off-road manly vehicle as they're assumed as today. But in this era, this time, they were normally used as farming vehicles because you get an actual PTO or power takeoff, which in case you don't know, is a switch that transfers the power from the transmission to power cranes and mills and stuff. Good stuff to use on a farm, and they're also good at dragging stuff. So many farmers used them, and one farmer around here who we actually don't know who was, bought it, used it. It ended up in someone's hands who was in a rich part of the neighborhood and didn't need it. So he sold it. My dad bought it in his teenage years, fixed up his father, and got it running. It's been in our family's ownership for a long time, and that's the history behind it. Okay, let's start with the powertrain. We begin with the engine, which is a 2.3-liter inline-4 flathead. It is nicknamed the Go Devil engine. It does not have a lot of horsepower, and it does not have a lot of speed, but the U.S. military designed them to last 5 days without running out of gas, or just burning up. So these are very long motors. They last a long time. The Jeep that we had like 80,000 miles, which doesn't seem like much, but that's like 400,000 in today's mileage. Before we had to change it out and get the engine swapped and stuff, and people did like a lot of hard stuff to it, unlike family cars that last like a million miles and don't really see any off-road action. This does, so that makes sense why we had to repair after 40,000 miles. Anyway, talking more about the engine. Even though it only has like 60 horsepower, it'll do whatever you want because it has so much torque. It has around 210 foot-pounds, I believe. It'll do whatever you want. It can do whatever a modern-day truck can. It just can't do it fast. Which leads me to the top speed of this vehicle, which is kind of hard to calculate. Its cruising speed, I'd say, is like 40. You don't want to do that much on the highway. It can do 40 all day. No, it likes doing 40. But you don't want to get it past like 62. 62 is the fastest we've ever had it at. 62. Go over 62, it's over. But you can't have an overdrive, which some farmers put on so they can handle, like, because the speed limit was like 45 when this car came out. About to be 50. The speed limit was changed to 50 and 56, I believe. So to make sure their engine doesn't explode and kind of go almost near the red line, they put overdrives on them, which lowers the tension and the speed of the engine and makes it run easier on the highway. Many people put overdrives in them. So with an overdrive, you could probably get around 70 miles an hour out of this thing. It's too much work to put an overdrive in with something we have now, but yeah, not something to think about. Speaking about overdrives, the transmission. Transmission is a 3-speed T90. Here's the shift pattern. And this is the first car I reviewed that has a transfer case, so I guess we gotta talk about that. The transfer case is a Dana 18 out of a Ford GPW. I forgot to say this when I was talking about the history, but a few of these parts are not from a CJ-2A. This Jeep was repaired by my dad almost before he was a teenager, really. Like a few years before the internet was released to the public in 1989. So a few of this stuff was just found at junkyards and stuff. And I'm trying to say that as nice as possible because the Jeep does run nice. This is made with stuff that ain't original. Like the transfer case of a GPW used during World War II, and the strangest thing out of all of it, a clutch. The clutch is on an FC-150. Jeep's like truck, cab over truck that they made in the 50s and 60s. Kind of weird. It means they cut the clutch cable and all that. Kind of weird, ain't it? But yeah, that's for the transfer case. Is there anything else to talk about, really? Y'all want to hear it run?
Hot? Whoa! I'ma need a minute.